Hello friends! Today I'm super excited to show you some awesome brushes, filters, and 3D models that are going to be super helpful for comic making, illustrations, and just drawing in general. I've actually been using a lot of these assets for a while now across several of my comics, and now all of them are on sale on ACON3D's website as part of this 6-in-1 drawing starter pack that's jam-packed with all these useful assets that have been carefully selected to help beginner artists at a super discounted price. If you watched my last video, you'll know all about ACON3D, a global asset platform for artists all around the world, which, by the way, thank you so much for all the love on that video. Like, oh my gosh. In part because of that, ACON3D actually reached out to me again, and they are sponsoring today's video. So thank you so much to the ACON3D team. If you didn't catch my last video, I've actually been using ACON3D for a long time, like I'm talking years. And moreover, I've used these specific assets in the drawing starter pack, in my webtoons and other projects, from my school drama, The Mind's Eye, to my action-packed fantasy webtoon Earth Eaters. ACON3D just has so many useful assets to help you across genres, no matter the type of project you're making, be it a comic, illustration, animation, even video games. And this drawing starter pack is perfect if you've ever wanted to try out some of their assets for a discounted price or don't know exactly where to start when looking into the types of assets they have available. So without further ado, let's dive in. I'm of course going to be listing all of these assets in the description. The first asset that I use almost every day, like literally, are these small tree brushes. I've used this for background panels and standalone illustrations alike. They work really well for both the school drama and my fantasy webtoon, whether you're drawing your backgrounds from scratch or using 3D models and doing paintovers. They've got a lot of detail in the foliage and all in all are just really pretty. I also think they've got this whimsical look. It's kind of like Ghibli-esque. There's also a lot of variety with this brush because there are 9 different types of trees and they're randomized with each brush stroke. Another brush from the drawing starter pack that I've been using for a while now has been the 13 patterns and the 28 decorations brushes for romantic fantasy. Now, that was a mouthful, but these are basically just really exquisite and luxurious clothing patterns that I especially use a lot for Earth Eaters. Costume design has always been one of my weak points. I just literally don't have a sense of style, so that definitely translates to my characters. I'm sorry, guys. If not for these brushes, I'm pretty sure it would just look like everyone was running around in bathrobes. In Earth Eaters, my fantasy webtoon, I use it for the police and soldiers' uniforms. I use it on the trim of the different capes and cuffs of the uniforms. I also use it for the Alkean monk uniforms as embellishments along their sashes. And the patterns are really helpful when coming up with a design for a newly introduced character, Luca, who is possibly my favorite character in any of my series ever. I'm sorry, Blaze and Carlo. But he's called the Artificer, and his character's uniform is supposed to look kind of like this curious blend of a soldier's uniform and a performer. We'll find out why later, but almost like this steampunk circus ringleader look, and these decoration brushes really tied this look together. The third brush that I've used even before the drawing starter pack launched was this light effects brush. And this one actually comes with like 6 different sets of brushes. This is a really good deal to get them all together in this drawing starter pack. In Earth Eaters, I often use the Dreamy Light Spotted brush a lot for reflections on water, especially on glow dodge mode. It looks so pretty. And a trick too for water is to set a motion blur to blur in both directions to make it kind of look like moving water, and it looks really cool. But I had never tried some of the other ones like the Jewelry Gloss brush, so I was really excited to try it out on this illustration in which I tried to combine all of the assets from the starter pack. So this is an illustration for my new web novel called Before I'm Human, which is this kind of spooky paranormal tale, and the reason I chose this illustration was because I really wanted to test out the versatility of the drawing starter pack assets. You know, I already knew they worked really well for the high fantasy genres. I knew that they worked well for the drama and romance genres, and I am happy to report that these brushes and filters and models work perfectly for just about anything. Because, as you can see here, they were able to help me really capture the kind of darker side of the mystical and the ethereal here in this spooky underworld scene. In it, I used the Starlight brush a lot with the Starry Sky, and I actually used the Jewelry Gloss brush in addition to the Dreamy Light brush on the water. During the process, I really liked playing around with the 55 natural and simple touch-up filters. And so these are soot files which are compatible with Clip Studio Paint. ACON3D has a lot of models and brushes specifically for Clip Studio. These are no exception. And because they are essentially the brush file type for Clip Studio, they're not just like color gradients, they actually have built-in layer modes that will be automatically applied. You don't even have to create a new layer, you just drag and drop them the same way you would with a gradient, and it will automatically create a new layer. I played around with this until I found something that was spooky for the underworld illustration for Before I'm Human. And then I used it to take the same setting, right, and create an entirely new scene with an entirely different feel for my webtoon Earth Eaters. This one is still a little bit spooky. You know, I have the Draken swimming through the waters here, so it looks a little foreboding and intimidating, but overall it has a more cheerful and hopeful undertone, and really all of that was accomplished just by doing a few touch-ups and playing around with one of these other filters with kind of more pink and yellow tones. And last but not least, ACON3D's Drawing Starter Pack has these 3D male and female heads that you can take into Clip Studio and use for reference. If you've never used a 3D model before in Clip Studio, it's super easy. You can drag and drop these files from your File Explorer right onto your canvas. And these are kind of like different camera modes that you can use. If you have it set to this one, it's kind of like a free transform, and you can just click anywhere on the canvas and rotate the entire model along any axis. Or you can rotate the model along a singular specific axis by highlighting it and dragging your mouse along it, like this. These models have the head, neck, and shoulder for your reference. Really good for bust shots and close-up panels, especially if it's at like a weird angle. And just a quick note here, I know in my webtoon video, the ultimate guide video, I talked about all the stages of the comic production process, from thumbnailing and storyboarding to sketching and, you know, line work. But honestly, these models are so detailed that if you have a basic understanding of facial anatomy, or even if you don't and you're working on it, I almost think that you can just draw right on the model itself. And I've heard that a lot of webtoon artists, especially webtoon original artists that have to pump out like 60 panels a week, I've heard a lot of them do just that with the customized models they have for their characters. In my last video, I also talked about the dragon models that I use for creating Earth Eaters, and I know drawing over them has helped me gain better understanding of animal anatomy. So if you have a consistent 3D head model like this to help you, like draw on model, you start to get a better feel for how the face shapes look at different angles, and I think it could probably even give you a better understanding of facial anatomy and help you just drawing face shapes in general. All in all, I would highly recommend this all-in-one drawing starter pack, especially for beginner artists. Again, I've used these assets before, and you guys are actually getting an even better deal than I originally did on it. The starter package has a 30% discount, and there's even an extra discount in the form of a $5 welcome coupon for new ACON3D users. So all in all, you can actually get up to 40% off. So you get $50 worth of these awesome assets for under $30. And the sale is running through July, so make sure you check it out. It ends on July 31st. But when thinking about the benefits of this drawing starter pack, I mean, it not only helps you expedite your workflow. I sound like a broken record, I'm always saying that, but ACON3D really does help with that. Just really streamlines the comic or illustration production process, but It also just enhances the quality of your art. It helps you, prevent so much strain on your wrist, not having to go in and draw every single leaf in the tree. And overall, just like all of ACON3D assets, they're really high quality. I wouldn't recommend something that I don't personally use. So I really hope that this review of ACON3D's Drawing Starter Pack is helpful to you. If you're thinking of trying the assets out and taking advantage of this awesome sale, you can check all of that out in the description box below. Oh, and really quick before I go, I did see everyone's comments on my last video requesting a full SketchUp tutorial for 3D backgrounds for webcomics, and just wanted to let you know that I am currently working on that, so definitely keep an eye out and stick around. I'm hoping to have it out by next week, as well as the giveaway announcement, because I finally have everything together for that. I just recently moved across country, so things have been a little hectic, but also I was honestly not expecting to reach any milestone at all, let alone so quickly. So thank you so much for all the love and support you've given me on this channel. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you again to ACON3D for sponsoring it. And as always, thank you to my lovely patrons. I will see you guys next time.